Welcome to a thrift flip featuring sewing machine, clothes dye, pins, scissors, some summer clothes, and me, Aka Kyoko, otherwise known as Yoko Coco Coco Pops Cokes. Girl that dresses like a grandma, and that's about presented by... Yeah. Hey guys, how y'all doing? So today I'm going to be flipping this, and this, and one more time, this. Whoa, this is ugly. Yep, that's the peak of this video. You're allowed to leave now. For the first top, we are going to be turning this gorgeous pink printed fabric into a summer top. If you've been on Instagram, you've probably seen this a billion times, and it's cute, but it costs $100. Ugh. So we are gonna sew it. For this lace dress, we are going to patchwork it with some other lace and turn it into a lemon yellow dress with a little dye and some sewing. Oh, and this one, I mean, is already pretty groovy. Disco, disco, good, good. But we're gonna get rid of some of the older accents and modernize it up and make it a little more disco 80s and less reptilia, if that's a word. And all the clothes featured today were purchased from Thredup. Not that this is sponsored. If you like sustainable, good for the environment clothing, feel free to subscribe down below. So the first one is by far the hardest one. If you want to start with something a little bit easier, I will leave the time marks there and there. And now, with no further ado. So the fun part. We are going to begin by sitting down, turning on a film or YouTube, and kicking back with a pair of scissors and your top. This isn't that video where we lazily procrastinate for 10 hours. Unstitching or unpicking, if you lose your cool like I did, you can cut. The goal is to follow all the stitching until you just have pieces of clean fabric. Yay! I used the front two sheets of the shirt for my front piece. You can use any string for the halter neck. I used this tiny piece of fabric and folded it, hand stitching it together so it was the same color, or you could just use a ribbon. We're just gonna lay it across, fold your halter neck like a ham over it on the back, and pin it into a place for now, making sure it's a little bit scrunched up. Then we dry it on. Because we don't have any patterns, I'm just gonna fold the fabric to the shape I like it. Here is the reference pins again. Can the ruffles need to be thinner? Because right now they're too thick and it kind of looks like I'm wearing a scarf and doesn't look elegant. Definitely need it to connect together at the bottom here-ish. So that way I know where to attach the bottom, as well how to cut the V tight on the side. So kind of pinned, trying to find a nice line going this way. This is going to need some work in the middle here. I need it to be open. If I stretch out a little bit, it should kind of almost give this shape, as well as making it sort of still thin here. After I've pinned it all up, double check it's even by folding it in half and adjusting it so it's the same shape. You can now also adjust the halter neck where it hems on the ribbon, cutting it thinner if it was too bulky around the neck. So a hem along both sides and try it. Now we are back with trying on part 2. We kind of got the V without even trying. Now we're going to just attach the bottom. It doesn't need to be too long. I only want it to go around the side because then we're going to attach like layers and layers and layers. I don't want it to end with the seams. I don't know why I'm even trying this on now. After pinning, make sure that both sides are even. Pin, try again, find the width of the waist, pin again, sew, then sew the pinned hem at the top of the halter neck. Looks a little like this. The final stretch, the waist. This part is pretty much a string of leftover fabric sewn together to achieve the desired length. I wanted it to wrap around my waist twice and have room for a bow at the end. So I pinned them, sewed them together, adding a clean hem on the top length and the bottom, and voila! So you guys, I did it. Woo! So this next one is just an experiment. I wanted to figure out what length I wanted the sleeves. I kind of like that it's puffy. I think it's kind of nice and I kind of got lucky. But I somehow need to attach this dress. And I want it puffy, like way more shaped and puffy than this. So I'm thinking out loud here. Tighten the shirt. Cut and hem the sleeves somehow. And maybe 2 layers for the skirt. Yeah. So I've already pinned in some marks for length I like. Ow! Next, I'm gonna make sure it's centered. If not, adjust. Then we're gonna cut, fold a little hem, attach the zipper, and make sure it's on the inside like this. Sew that bad boy on and test it. Bellissimo. Double check the pin sleeves are the same length. Then we're gonna cut, grab some random fabric, fold it in on itself to make an attachable hem. Then we're gonna test it on. Pin it, then pin it to the sleeve like it is being spooned on both sides. Stitch, and yay, top layer done. Now the skirt. Ooh. Next, I'm gonna cut it horizontally, vertically. The top fabric a little longer than the bottom needs to be shorter but wider. Connecting the two pieces, making sure to bunch the bottom of the skirts a little so it's more puffy. Except, I had a bit of a dilemma. Because the dress I bought was super straight down and not very bouncy or wide, I didn't have enough fabric to actually make it look puffy. Which to me is a massive problem. So what I did was cut off the leftover sleeves into tiny little pieces, patchwork this baby up like a Frankenstein, and made it a gazillion times longer. To make it puffy, I would recommend at least 90 inches long. So I've already measured where I want the skirt to meet the top, making sure that it was perfectly horizontal by measuring both sides from the armpits. And the bottom should be bigger than the top because we want to zhuzh it up a bit. We're going to pin it, sew it, repeat, pin it, sew it. Oh, wait. This is an intervention. Before we start just sewing random things together, check the fabric. Cotton and nylon. I guessed it. So for this dye method, we are going to have to do it separately. First, weigh it. Take note, because we're about to hit the bleh part of the video. Mathematics. If the instructions say that every pound of fabric is 3 gallons of water and 4 ounces of liquid dye, then that makes nylon also needs a cup of vinegar and cotton needs a cup of salt. This is just to help the process a little bit, and both need some dishwashing liquid to even the dye. I left it in there for about 10 minutes. It really depends on how it looks to you. Remember that when it is wet as well, it will also be a little darker. The last and final transformation. I'm going to start by pinning any area I want to remove, then cutting them off. I find that with more delicate fabrics, it's sometimes better to pick it with a little picker. Once I'm done, I'm going to pin and sew over any rough edges, hemming it in, and that is it. Thank you guys for watching to the end of this video. I post videos every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe, press the bell button. And if you like this video, feel free to comment and like. I love hearing what you guys have to say. And I'm out. Have a good week.